how's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today I'm really excited because we're going to be doing a top 10 list of horror films from 2024. As I'm recording this, 2024 is wrapping up, and we're heading into 2025, so fingers crossed for the new year, right? But 2024 gave us a really good amount of horror films. Honestly, really impressed with this year. Some good franchise entries as well as some good standalones. And we're going to look back at the year and check out some cool ones. Now, I will say, as always, when I do a top 10 list, the big caveat is this is my personal list. It will, of course, vary from yours, and if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments. I always try to watch as many horror films as I can, but I don't have a great art house theater anywhere near me, and I don't have every streaming service, and some things you just miss. Like I heard Cuckoo and The Substance were pretty good. I didn't get a chance to watch them. Hopefully I'll pick up the DVD soon or something. But if you guys know of any that I didn't list on here that you think should be on there, again, just tell me down below. But this is, again, more about celebrating the year as a whole than being like the definitive answer for always and all time. Whatever. Let's go ahead and talk a bit about the movies. We open up with number 10, and number 10 I'm going to have to give to a long-awaited sequel, and that is Beetlejuice. This is one of those movies that I'm just so happy and thrilled that it finally came out after what felt like forever, and we get Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder and Tim Burton's amazing Ghost World all coming back. Yeah, it's not the classic that the first one was, and there was a little too much going on in the plot, but I was thrilled to get to go back to Beetlejuice and have more fun in this wacky, crazy world. So it is at number 10. Like I said, it does have some flaws, and it is kind of comedy fantasy horror, so not straight up scary, so maybe that bumps it down a little bit. Whatever, it's still a really good movie. I found it really fun. Moving right along to number 9. Number 9, again, a sequel, and this would be Maxine. This is the third film in the X trilogy, and we get Maxine going off to Hollywood when, unfortunately, she's stalked by a Giallo-style killer. Gotta love Giallo, gotta love 80s glam, gotta love Hollywood movies. It's pretty fun and definitely has some standout moments. I will say the mystery is kind of obvious and it's the weakest of the trilogy, but still, got to love seeing the final piece in this thing. Again, definitely check out the X movies if you haven't seen them. Moving on to number 8. This one might be at the top of a lot of people's lists, but I do wish there was a little bit more nailed down with this one. Whatever. Number 8 is going to be Longlegs. Nicolas Cage plays a serial killer, and there's this whole method with tracking him down and breaking his cipher and piecing together the clues. The marketing on this one got everybody super hyped for it, and I do wish, again, that some of the clues were a little more well mapped out, and there is a few areas that I wish were a little better. It's good atmosphere and a good lead detective, and again, a knockout role from Cage. A good, scary detective story. You gotta love it. Anyway, moving on to number 7, I'm going to go with A Quiet Place Day 1. I was skeptical going into this because it's a Quiet Place movie without John Krasinski, but you know what? It came out pretty good. The action of doing a Day 1 piece when no one's figured out the rules and the monsters are going absolutely crazy, but plus a really good heart-wrenching story where you really do feel for these characters even though they're not the same ones from the first movie. And the cat, of course, bumps it up an extra star. Overall, this is one that when you get to the end of it, you're like, wow, that was a spin-off, but boy, was it powerful, and it gives you hope for future Quiet Place movies, even if they are spin-offs. I found it really cool, and again, can definitely recommend it. Moving on to number 6, and that would be Alien Romulus. I'm a huge fan of Alien, and I have to say, this is the best Alien movie since Part 2, and it actually does a good job of doing the horror of Part 1 and the action of part 2 and mixing them together really well. We get a bunch of young kids, like teenagers, going to raid a space station, and of course the Romulus space station, it didn't just go abandoned. We're watching an alien movie. Things get pretty desperate pretty quick, but there's also a good sense of how this world works and the machinery behind it, and the connections to other alien movies. Again, the best since part 2. I really loved Alien Romulus. Moving on to number 5, Late Night with the Devil from Shudder. In this movie, you get David Dastmalchian given the lead role, and he's a late night host that's going to have a possessed girl as one of his guests in a Halloween special, and it's all shot through real-world cameras. It's like the lost master tape of this special, so it's essentially a found footage piece, and David Dastmalchian knocks it out of the park. It's found footage and Halloween. It's one that I've already seen twice, and I have a feeling I'll watch it every year around Halloween time. It's definitely really cool, and I can definitely recommend it. Moving on to number 4, we have The First Omen. The First Omen, after The Exorcist Believer, I think a lot of people thought this movie wasn't going to be that great. But no, it's a really hardcore and gritty horror movie, and again, the best since the first. We get that 70s political turmoil, and we get this nun who's kind of piecing together the clues that will lead to the birth of the Antichrist. It is super bleak and shot super well, and, like the title suggests, very, very ominous. So I do got to like that one. Moving on to another sequel, for number 3, I'm going to put Smile 2. The first Smile was one that absolutely blew people away. People were expecting a goofy Truth or Dare movie, but when that one was good, a lot of people thought, okay, there's no way the sequel's going to be good as well. But the sequel's actually just as good, if not better. This is what Smile can do given a budget. We can pull off a lot of really visually impressive gags, really, really cool camera work, but also we get to see this monster really torment this lady, and she is a pop star, so she has a whole different perspective from the character in the first movie. Overall, it came out really well. Super terrifying to see her in the clasp of this thing. Definitely check this out. Moving on to number 2, a movie that just came out this Christmas and probably forced a lot of people to hold off on premature top 10 list. This would be the new Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. Kind of like the Evil Dead remake, it says, hey, what if Nosferatu was 100% serious? And boy, is this Nosferatu scary. Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu. Man, after Pennywise, he got to play another iconic horror character, and Lily Rose Depp gets a really good amount of stuff to do in this one as well when she has to go up against Nosferatu. The whole movie shot beautifully, nice nods to the first, while very much doing its own thing. You really get to see Nosferatu as an oppressive force, the essence of evil, kind of. It's really good. Definitely go check it out. Now for number 1, this is one that when I was looking through the movies, I had kind of a good idea what would be on the top 10, and then I was piecing together the order, and I was like, you know what? I think out of all these 10 movies, if there was one that I wanted to watch again right now, it would be this one. And when we have all these, crazy art house horror pieces on here, it may seem a little odd to put this one, but you know what? I'm gonna say it. The number 1 horror movie of 2024 is Terrifier 3. Oh man, I love this franchise. It's Art the Clown going up in his antics again, but this time around Christmas. We get that good contrast between Christmas and horror, and of course, great special effects work. Getting to see this series really just grow and grow. Not only a slasher in the 2020s, a completely unique franchise, a horror icon that was just born, and something that started out super indie, and getting this big is just such a joy to watch. And boy, they keep finding ways to up the ante here. And again, I know we have lots of really great art house films, but you know what? I'll take a I'll take a different kind of art this time around. For my number one movie, I'm going to say it's the one where the murder clown shoves a chainsaw in the guy's butt, because you know what? It's my list, okay? Yeah, Terrifier 3, I'm giving you the number one spot. Great movie, and great to see the trajectory of this series. Overall, what did you guys think? Did you agree with my picks? Did I pull some orders out of nowhere that you're like, what? Why would you say that? I am curious, but overall, I really did like the movies of this year. And if there are any that I missed that you think I should watch, definitely let me know in the comments. Anyway, to everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist at the bottom. This should be my 2024 movies, and you should be able to find reviews for each of these movies in this playlist. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.